Hi everyone, I'm Robert Taylor, exercise referral instructor with the Cambridge City Council. In today's short video, I want to explore some ways and notions on how to motivate yourself to exercise. We all know, don't we, really, that exercise is in one way, shape or form healthy for our bodies, physically, mentally. But the lone acquiring of this knowledge that exercise is good for us rarely results in someone committing to exercise and activity. Getting started with exercise or re-engaging with exercise later on in life, then staying consistent with exercise can at times, if not always, feel like an uphill battle. I'm not an expert in sports psychology, but after instructing exercise to people for 12 years now, I'd like to share my thoughts on how one can best motivate themselves. And I do want to say, although I've just introduced myself as an exercise referral instructor, I really want to speak to you as Rob Taylor, the person, because I don't think that I'm the greatest speaker of exercise in the world. I just want to, by any means, I just want to let you know what I think is useful, and hopefully you guys, even if you just take one point, will find it useful as well. So I'm going to go down this list that I've prepared and tell you what I think is good. So first of all is find your why. Often an intrinsic motivator, a deeper, more personal, emotional, related reason to moving and exercise acts as a far better motivator than an extrinsic, external reason for oneself to get motivated to exercise. So an example of a common extrinsic motivator would be if I engage in exercise, eventually I could look better, whatever better is, or build some muscle or lose some body fat. An example of an intrinsic motivator would be if I engage in exercise, I will become fitter to play with my children, my grandchildren, and this in turn will make myself feel better as I will be able to take part in more activities with my family, making myself feel happier. The key point in this statement, and I try to emphasize some of the words, is not only recognizing how improving your fitness may affect others that you care about, but most importantly, and it is most importantly, how it will make you feel. And in this case, we've said it will make you feel happier because you're seeing people that you care about feel happier, that you're getting involved with them. This notion segues into one of my favorite quotes about exercise, which is, don't dedicate your life to exercise, dedicate exercise to life. I found this quote in the book How to Think About Exercise by Damon Young. I highly recommend this book if you want to explore more about exercise motivation. It could be a real game changer for you. The next point is, I'm just making sure that I'm still staying in camera because I'm sliding down the chair here. I can't have bad posture giving a talk, can we? So the next point is you can't aim low enough. More often than not, when people are trying to get into exercise, they're just simply aiming too high. This sounds counterintuitive. What do you mean you can't aim low enough? But trial and error, recognize where you are. If you're saying, I'm going to go to the gym 4 or 5 days a week for an hour, it's all good for a couple of weeks, then it doesn't happen anymore, and you feel like everything has fallen flat and failed. I would say actually, if you've really had a history of trying to engage with exercise and then it not happening, choose the lowest, smallest move, exercise, thing you can commit to, whatever that may be, whether it's one exercise for 1 minute a day for the first week. Yes, the payoff of what you may want to get out of exercise might come at a much later date, but who's winning? The person that starts off with that smallest change, then adds another change, then adds another small change, playing the long game. In a year to 2 years, they're still doing exercise and now they've built from the ground up. or the person that had an amazing 3 weeks at the gym, going every day, fantastic, but then as soon as they couldn't go for whatever reason, it fell apart, and now they're in the same place or maybe even worse off. So really think about that. You can't aim low enough. What if it didn't work last time getting into exercise? Can you aim a little bit lower to then build up from that point? Think about that one. And that kind of segues really nicely into the third point, which is regular micro workouts. So smaller workouts, smaller bits of exercise can be just as effective as long workouts. It's a very similar point. It's almost the same point, but the only difference with this being is that it may be that you never get into longer workouts. So you just start with a very low volume of small exercise and then actually build those groups of small exercise, those micro workouts. So it could be that you never go to a gym, you never do an hour-long session, but it could be that you do 3 chunks of 5 to 10 minutes every single day or every other day. So think about that one as well. Micro workouts, if it's going to get you exercising more regularly, even though they are smaller workouts, it's much better doing micro workouts on 5 days of the week than an hour-long session in the gym 1 day a week. So really think about that, and it might be therefore motivate you because you can see improvements and you're chopping the exercise up and you're putting it into your everyday routine. The next one that I'm going to go to is attach your exercise to something you enjoy doing. So for me, I love music. I reframe it in my head. I'm sitting there going, I don't want to exercise today. I'd much prefer to sit on the couch and watch a TV show that I enjoy. But I love music. A new album's come out. I've created a playlist for myself. What I'm going to do primarily is listen to that music, but then alongside it, I'm going to do my exercise. And it sounds a little bit cheesy, but it is true. If you believe in it, you say, I am going to listen to my music, my playlist, that new album, and I'm going to exercise alongside it. That reframing tends to get more enjoyment out of the exercise. You could exercise whilst watching TV, whether that be in the advert breaks or whether it be whilst you're watching something that's a little bit more light-hearted and that you can enjoy. Other things that you can do, some people may like to create an atmosphere, and whether that's playing ambient noise or whether that's lighting a candle, a bit more ritualistic, whether it's an incense, and then perform their exercise. It could even be reading. I know hardcore readers out there might just say, no, I want to crack on reading my book. But you could say, I'm going to read a couple of pages, do a small exercise, read a couple of pages, do a small exercise. Podcasts, exactly the same nature as the music. It could be that I'm going to listen to that podcast or maybe that audio book, and I'm going to exercise whilst primarily doing that, even if actually the bigger movement and motion that you're doing is the exercise itself. I have no idea what the timers of this video is, so I'm gonna crack on. Measurability. However small the measurability of recording exercise is, it could be as simple as a tally on a post-it note. Give yourself something that shows that you have exercised. As I just said, it could be a note, one line in a diary, I did this exercise today, making a tally. It could be putting a sticker on a chart. It doesn't have to be counting calories. It doesn't have to be something that's really time consuming. Avoid making the measurability feel like a chore. But without any measurability, sometimes you don't realize how well you're doing, and then you can lose morale. Just seeing that sticker, seeing that tally, putting it somewhere where you're going to see it, where it's not always shut away. If it's in a diary, keep the diary open on a table with the page out so you can see, but have some form of measurability. I use notes on my mobile phone and I go through the notes, so that's how I personally do it. Embrace imperfections and honor the present moment. It sounds very spiritual, but it's just life really. So things aren't always going to feel good. Obviously you want to be safe, you never want to push through any pain or any real undue feelings, but just know that sometimes you will miss a workout. sometimes you won't perform as well. Quite a lot of times you won't perform as well, but you're actually staying in the game, doing it for the long time, and you're honoring the present moment. You're saying to yourself, I am doing this because of my, like we spoke about earlier on, my intrinsic motivators, and honoring the present moment, saying this is what I can do now. A really good question to kind of make that really simple is ask yourself, if you're thinking, oh my gosh, I can't exercise, I can't do anything today, just say, what can I do now? And that once again kind of almost goes into like, what's the smallest thing I can do? So a lot of these points do crisscross a bit with slightly different nuances. Point 7, I would say, is celebrate the journey and celebrate discipline. They will be intrinsic external motivators. You can give yourself slight rewards along the way, but I personally don't think they should ever be the primary reason why you're doing something. When you see tiny little improvements, even if they're fleeting, like after doing an exercise, oh, I just feel like I've got a random little boost of energy now. It may be from the discipline that you get a sense of achievement. You go, actually, I committed to something that I really didn't want to do, and now I've done it. Actually, I'm maybe mentally a little bit stronger than I thought because I've done that thing I didn't really want to do, and now it's done, and now I can crack on with the rest of my day. Maybe I can do that again. So don't wash over the little goals as you go. If you slightly improve at an exercise, even if it's a tiny little bit, don't focus on the exercise you didn't improve at. Really do highlight all the goods. Celebrate the journey, celebrate the discipline that you achieve. Doing something that you don't always feel like you want to do can actually really build character and show that you're much stronger than you may think you are. Point 8, I put being highly motivated is a mindset which will never remain the same. And once again, this kind of comes out of point 7, celebrating the journey. Remember, lasting motivation is a journey, it is not a destination. The ever-changing isness of life. So it comes back to that, what can I do now? I suppose we could even group those points together, but it's a nice phrase, isn't it, if anything else, that being highly motivated is a mindset. It will never remain the same, and just that forgiveness can actually help motivate you to not have these thoughts that like, oh, everything is ruined now, I'm not going to continue with that because I didn't do it for a few days and everything is ruined. That's just simply not the case. A couple of bonus tips really. If you have home exercise equipment, leave it in a place where you can access it easily and where you can see it. It sounds so obvious, but people go, oh, I'm going to have this weights drawer, or I'm going to, my resistance band is in my bag, or whatever. I don't know how your house looks, that'd be weird if I did, but if you can put it in a place where it is visible, maybe a corner of your room becomes the exercise equipment corner. How creative you want to get with that, I don't know, putting motivational quotes up, whatever. Doesn't have to be like that though. It could be as simple as having your resistance band hanging up over in the hallway over a hook, or rolled up at the side of your sofa. It could be having some dumbbells just on the floor in a safe place in your room, so every now and then you go over, and as long as you feel warmed up, you do a few exercises. Other bonus tip is surround yourself with inspiring people and resources. Follow fitness influencers, join online communities, read motivational books. Let the positive energy of others fuel you, and try to avoid comparison. I think the beauty of movement and exercise is that on whatever level there is some capacity for change, and that's what I see in exercise referral. Even if it's someone who then they're walking with a stick, and now all of a sudden they don't feel like they have to walk with a stick anymore. It's you versus you and no one else, but that doesn't mean that you have to feel shut down, or you have to feel protective or go on the defensive whenever you see anybody else that might be doing quite well. Just try and open yourself up and surround yourself with as much positive energy as possible. And if there's anything that you do feel is negative, if possible, try and cut that stuff out. Whether it be something you're following on social media, whether it be comments that other people are saying, try and just focus on those. Easier said than done, but try and just focus and surround yourself with as much positive quotes, music, books, people. Surround yourself with those more positive people and those more positive things. I hope this has helped. I don't know if I've spoken very well, but go forth and conquer these movement goals. Let's just bring it down to movement. Last thing, very cheesy actually as well, is from a psychological point of view, you are worth it. There is no such thing as perfection. So forgive yourself. Whatever you think you have done wrong, the bad things you have done, or bad things you have done, whatever, you are worth it. And the fact that you can make these changes, the fact that that you can make these changes, that you can make something good of a situation, the potential is there, however long it takes to find your groove. I've talked enough, haven't I? I hope I've made some sense. I hope this talk provides you with the motivation and tools you need to unlock your full fitness potential. And I wish you all the best with your future activity and exercise. If it's just one thing you can take from this entire talk, remember, you can't aim low enough. Take 1 point and roll with that. Thank you.